One of the questions I get asked the most this time of year is Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party really worth the extra ticket? And I think the better question might actually be, what kind of memories are you hoping to bring home? Hi, friend, and welcome to The Magic Between. I'm Christy Bettenhausen, a travel agent with Mickey Travels and earmarked by Disney Diamond Travel Agency. Each week, we'll take a few minutes to slow down and explore the moments that make family vacations and life a little more meaningful. We'll talk about Disney destinations, creating lasting memories, and the little moments that often become the biggest memories. Because the memories you'll treasure most can't be found on a map. They're made in the magic between. Halloween has always been one of my favorite seasons at Walt Disney World. Maybe it's because Disney somehow manages to make spooky feel charming instead of scary. Maybe it's the pumpkins on Main Street. Maybe it's the costumes. Or maybe it's because some of our family's sweetest memories happened during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. One night in particular always comes back to me. It was hot. I mean, Florida in September hot. The kind where you're questioning every life choice that involved wearing a costume. We had been standing in line for what felt like forever, 45 minutes or more, and my son Robert had one mission that night. Not Space Mountain, not Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, not even candy. He wanted to meet Lotso. Now, if you know Robert, you know he has always loved Toy Story, and at that point, Lotso was everything. This giant pink bear who somehow smells like strawberries. When it was finally our turn, Robert wrapped his arms around Lotso with the biggest smile. It was one of those hugs where time just sort of stopped for a second. And I remember standing there thinking, the party hasn't even really started yet. But in my mind, it was already worth every minute. That's something I think we forget when we're planning vacations. We spend so much time trying to figure out whether something is worth it. Is the special event worth it? Is the dining package worth it? Is Park Hopper worth it? Is Lightning Lane worth it? They're fair questions. They're smart questions, but sometimes we're measuring the wrong thing because value isn't always found in how many attractions you ride. Sometimes it's found in one giant pink strawberry scented bear. I've experienced Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party in just about every way you can imagine. I've gone by myself. I've gone with just my daughters. I've gone with Craig and the girls. I've gone with friends. And my favorite version will probably always be all six of us together. Costumes, candy bags, laughter, figuring out who was carrying too much candy halfway through the night, all of it. Every version was different. Every version was special. Not because every night went perfectly, but because every night gave us something unexpected. And isn't that true for vacations in general? We put so much pressure on creating the perfect itinerary. We want to maximize every minute. We build spreadsheets, we watch videos, we research restaurants. And don't get me wrong, like you all know I love a good plan. It's literally my job. But I've also learned that the plan isn't the memory. The plan creates space for the memory. There's a big difference. Another layer that makes this party special for our family is that both of my daughters have worked at Magic Kingdom as cast members. Between the two of them, they've worked Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party more nights than I could ever count. They've handed out candy, helped guests, worn the special Halloween costumes. And yes, every cast member actually gets to name their little Halloween bat pin. Alexis named hers Creepy, which still makes me laugh. Now, after working that many parties, you would think they'd never want to see another pumpkin wreath again. And honestly, there may be a tiny bit of PTSD from hearing Boo to You over and over, but they still love the party. And I think that's really telling because they've seen what goes into creating that experience. And they've been the smiling face when someone needed directions. They've watched excited little kids run toward their favorite character. They've been part of making magic for complete strangers. It's a reminder that behind every unforgettable Disney memory is a cast member quietly helping make it happen. I don't think they always get enough credit for that. One of my absolute favorite parts of the party is the Boo to You parade. In our family, it's non-negotiable. You don't schedule dinner over the parade. You don't think you'll catch it next year. You find your spot, you settle in, and then the music starts. If you've been, you probably smiled just hearing me say that. And if you haven't, trust me, it'll be living rent free in your head for weeks. But here's what I love most. It isn't just watching the parade, it's watching little ones dance when the music starts, seeing entire families singing along, grandparents smiling as they watch their grandkids completely lose their minds over seeing their favorite characters dressed for Halloween. Those are my favorite moments, not because they're on the schedule, but because they're happening all around it. Can I ask you something? When you think back on your favorite family vacation, what do you actually remember? Is it the wait time for a ride, or is it who was standing next to you while you waited? Is it the reservation time for dinner, or the conversation that happened around the table? I think most of us would choose the second one. That's what this podcast is really about every week. Yes, we'll talk about Disney planning. We'll share tips, strategies, and ideas that help make vacations smoother and less overwhelming. But underneath all of that is something even bigger. It's creating room for the moments that become your family stories. Sometimes that's a parade, sometimes it's a character hug, sometimes it's sharing candy while sitting on a curb waiting for fireworks, and sometimes it's something you never could have planned. And if you're wondering whether Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is worth adding to your vacation, I'd encourage you to think about it a little differently. Don't ask how many attractions you'll fit in. Ask what kind of memories you hope your family carries home, because that's where the value really lives. Robert probably doesn't remember how long we waited for Lotso. I certainly don't remember what ride we did next. But I remember that hug. I remember that smile. I remember thinking, this right here is why we came. And years later, that's still the memory that rises to the top. Not because it was the biggest moment, but because it became one of our biggest memories. That's the magic between. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me today. If you're dreaming about a Disney destination vacation and you'd like me to help make planning your vacation feel a little more magical, I'd be honored to help. You can learn more and request your complimentary vacation quote at christybettenhausen.com. Until next time, remember the memories you'll treasure most can't be found on a map. They're made in the magic between. Thanks for listening.